A big hello to all the viewers. This is Mehar and welcome to Ainvayi Talks. So here in our show, we talk to people from different spheres of life, their journeys, their work, and basically listen to their stories. So today we have our guest here, Mr. Arvind Kotwal, who is the former CEO, Surinsar Mansar Development Authority, and who has also served as a former Deputy Director Tourism. Welcome, sir. Welcome to our show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for having me on your show.
Sir, you have served as this Deputy Director Tourism. So, just tell us about your journey in the tourism department.
Well, Meher, yeah, as a member of the Kashmir Administrative Service, one keeps getting shuttled from one department to the other. And I was posted as Deputy Director Tourism for almost 2 years, over 2 years. And it is a posting which I enjoyed thoroughly because it's a very different experience. Other than the regular government departments, this has a lot of challenges in the sense that it's not really a public service department. It is more of a department which promotes the state and all the state has to offer. So it was more challenging and I thoroughly enjoyed. Of course, being Deputy Director Tourism, I was handling publicity and adventure. So, publicity, of course, is a very pivotal role that one has to play in the department because, regardless of whatever you have, whatever your product is, you have to sell it. So, it's more of a marketing job, and therefore, it has those challenges as well. And I was also handling adventure, and in adventure too, of course, it was. I mean, strictly speaking, actually, Jammu doesn't really have to be marketed and told to people because Jammu has so much of it, so much of scenic destinations, so much of adventure opportunities. There's so much here that people will naturally gravitate towards this place for enjoying their holidays. But still, whatever one could do at that time to promote adventure and promote the tourism potential of Jammu region, that I try to do to my best.
Truly said, sir. Like you said, Jammu has a lot of potential in itself, tourism ko leke. So, what do you think? What destinations are there which can be explored and promoted, which are a little underrated right now?
Yeah. Well, when I was the deputy director, of course, Bhadarwa was opening up. That time it was opening up. But the Bhadarwa Development Authority was already in place, and a lot of infrastructure had come up over there. Side by side, of course, a lot of publicity also was happening. And the Bhadarwa festival was being held. There were treks being organized in Bhadarwa region, which did popularize it. And we were able to, at that time, attract a lot of media, even very prominent media houses of the country, the correspondents and others. And we had fam tours of the media also which were there and who visited Bhadarwa and it became pretty popular. Another area which, of course, is spectacular and I think by far the most spectacular area in Jammu division is Kishtawad area. Now, Kishtawad is something which really hasn't got its due so far. It has tremendous opportunities of rafting, of mountaineering, of trekking, besides a whole lot of other scenic destinations for leisure tourism. But it, for some reason, has not yet got its place. And that is something I feel that the present dispensation in the tourism department and the government needs to work on. Other few areas which are beautiful and which need to be promoted again are the Rajouri and Poonch areas. Rajouri has these beautiful lakes on the Pir Panchals, which are known to people, local people at least, they are known to, and there are people who trek to these areas, adventure enthusiasts who trek to these areas. But it's not something which has been yet popularized for people outside the state, not as much. Similarly, Punch again has beautiful areas like Loran, Mandi, etc. And these areas again have to be popularized. And this again is something which the tourism department needs to work on. Kathua is yet another area where there are beautiful areas like Daggar and
Hmm.
Duggan, which are comparable to any beautiful highland meadows, mountains, streams anywhere in the world. So these are again areas, and from what I see lately on the YouTube and on some of these blogs and blogs which now come up, that the technology has actually improved so much that some people are trying their best to promote these areas to create as much visibility for these areas as possible. Yet there requires it requires a more focused, a more intensive campaign to attract
Hmm.
people to these areas. So I guess, in my knowledge, these are a few areas which need to be stressed on and which need to be brought within the an intensive publicity campaign.
Hmm. So, very true, sir. Like, you have been this biker yourself. You are this ace photographer,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
this ever and a prolific writer. So, what do you say that now that you are not an active member in the department itself? So, what are some other things that are lacking in the department with respect to the department as well as the people? Like, then there is no awareness in people. So, what could
Mm.
be the way to improve that?
Well, as I already pointed out, that there is a need to publicize and popularize certain other destinations also. Now, as far as my biking is concerned, I was an avid biker about 7 years, 7 years, 8 years. I have been biking and going to the hinterland. There's so much to see in the hinterland in Jammu. It's heritage sites, beautiful sceneries, etc. And this again is one aspect which, of course, I think the department is trying to address to some extent by inviting the bikers for rallies in the hinterland, by inviting even cyclists. Cycling, mountain biking as such, is another area which is extremely popular in Ladakh, but
Hmm.
has not really been tapped so well in Jammu area. So that's another area, another thing which can be done. The third thing which I would say is that when I was the deputy director, we used to organize the Mughal Road Rally, which was a car rally, an actual rally. It's not a race, not a race of cars, but it was actual rally organized by the Himalayan Motorsport organization, which is based in Himachal. And we used to organize this car rally, which had a tremendous response from all over the country. That time, the Honorable Minister was Mr. Jora, who took personal interest in the whole thing. And we also chipped in with whatever roles we had. And we had car rally drivers from all over the country. And it was a rally which used to uh, take place for at least 3 days. And it used to cover the whole state. Not the entire state. I mean, what was the state earlier was Ladakh also, but it would cover Jammu and Srinagar. It would start off from Srinagar, take the national highway, get on to Daksum, get on to the Sinthan Pass. From Sinthan Pass, cross over to Kishtawad. From Kishtawad, it would go to Bhadarwa, cross the Chhatragala, get into Kathua, and from Kathua, then it would take the Dhar from Basoli, it would take the Dhar road. And from the Dhar road, it would get on to Mansar, Suruinsar, and then terminate back in Jammu, in the golf course. And also, and not only that, I'm sorry, it would not terminate here. It would further carry on to Rajouri Punch and take the Mughal Road and then go and conclude at the Royal Springs Golf Course in Srinagar. So it was a wonderful motor car rally, it was a proper rally. It had competitive stages and it had normal stages. So our state is beautifully made for having such a rally. We have national highways which are beautiful, where it's a pleasure driving. At the same time, you get off it and you have some roads which are actually the competitive roads, with because the car rally enthusiasts don't want a smooth, well-tarred road. They look for bumpy rides. They look for those kind of rides, and those kinds of rides are there. So the rally used to have normal stages where there were no points scored, and they used to have the competitive stages on these some of these roads which we call that bahut kharab sadak hai, ye hai, wo hai. But these are the kind of roads they are looking for. So this was a wonderful thing which we did for about 3 years, 4 years. It happened, and it actually got a lot of publicity for adventure sport here. Unfortunately, that has been given up. And I think that a rally of this kind, which almost is like the Raid de Himalaya, the Raid de Himalaya happens to be one of the best car rallies in the world, like
True.
Paris Dakar car rally. But this particular rally was really something which gave Jammu and Kashmir and improved the profile of this of our state that time in terms of adventure tourism. So I think they need to do something of that sort to promote car rally. Also, biking, of course, can also happen. Mountain biking is again something that they must look into. But I think that this part of adventure, which was car rally, is something again they have to look at.
Hmm. Great, sir. It's great. So, what I feel is like there's a very rich culture in Jammu province as well. Other than when we talk about tourism, there's other cultures there that can be promoted in Jammu as well. So, like, what are your thoughts on that? How they can be brought forward?
See, uh, uh, well, I assume that what you mean by culture is our local customs and cuisine and our art and culture and heritage and all. Well, we are, you see, an extension of the Pahadi culture.
Hmm.
Jammu is an extension of, or maybe we are similar to, if not an extension, we are similar to what Himachal Pradesh is, what Uttarakhand is in terms of our culture, our cuisine. There's so many similarities, of course. Now, what I feel is that we haven't yet ever tried to promote this aspect of our Pahadi culture, composite culture, that is. One is organizing an event and getting Mr. Romalu Ram or getting
Hmm.
some singers who are sing pakha and all that on the stage and making them sing. The other thing is to create an event which would highlight the Pahadi culture that we have. By Pahad, I
Hmm.
mean, of course, is the plains as well, because Jammu and Kashmir entirely is a hilly state with a bit of belt of the plains here. But that culture again is very akin to our Pahadi culture. Now, by Pahadi culture, what I mean is that uh, the Directorate of Tourism and the Department government must look into having a signature event for Jammu.
Hmm.
Jammu, as on date, doesn't really have a signature event which you can call that this is something which happens only in Jammu. Like you have signature events. Well, I can name. You have the Khajuraho festival for dances, classical dances. You have the Kite festival in Ahmedabad. You have the Chow festival in Mayurbhanj. You know, these are festivals, these are events which are already there in the itinerary of these states for a year. Everybody in the country gets to know about the Khajuraho festival at least 6 months in advance, and the date is fixed.
Hmm.
If the kite festival is taking place in Gujarat, the date is fixed, and people know that the kite festival is going to be held on this day. People accordingly make plans. They book, they make their itineraries, they do their bookings, they keep time available for that time of the year when this festival take place. Now, in our state, unfortunately, festivals are decided perhaps just 5 days in advance, and all the publicity that a festival gets is in the Daily Excelsior or Greater Kashmir or some paper like that, and maybe a bit on the TV somewhere, which only the locals get to know of. Nobody else gets to know of that. Now, the only signature event which uh, was held in Jammu and which used to be held for a few years, Mr. Khajuria was the director, and he did a wonderful job in promoting that, which was the Jammu festival. Now, Jammu festival used to be held sometime in the winter months, And it used to be something which would attract a whole lot of people because it was held at several places within Jammu city. Now it is given up. For some reason, it has been given up. So we need to revive a Jammu festival, give it a theme of Pahadi festival. To have a festival here and call somebody from, let us say, Delhi and Punjab who sings Punjabi rap would make no sense at all, unless it would make people of Jammu, some youngsters of Jammu, dance around like crazy. Besides that, it doesn't really have any other dividend as far as our culture, our heritage is concerned. So the Jammu festival needs to be revived. It has to have a fixed time of the year. It has to have a publicity much in advance. If the Jammu festival is to be held on the 4th of November, the ad in the national dailies and newspapers must appear at least 3 months, 4 months in advance that this is something going to happen in Jammu. This will be the theme. These are the events. Only then can you expect people to actually come here and get attracted to Jammu and come here for a specific event. A small place like Jalandhar over here next door. Now, do you think that there is any tourism in Punjab? There is heritage tourism. Amritsar has got heritage tourism. There are other things also, probably some resorts here and there. They don't really have anything much. They don't have beautiful scenery. They don't have alpine meadows to sell. Shri Ballabh Festival, Shri Ballabh Festival of Classical Music is held in Jalandhar. He was the pioneer and he revived Indian classical music in the late in the 18th century. A festival of 3 days is held in his honor, and the entire North India lands up, and it is held in December in the winter months. Despite winter, people land up because this is an event which is a signature event for the state, and people do come over, they attend it and they enjoy it, and they get a look into the culture of the place, the art of the place. So I guess these are the methods by which we can try to showcase our culture and art, by having a signature event and having it regularly.
Absolutely right, sir, because an event can surely represent Jammu and its heritage in some way, and it has to be sustained some way. So,
Yeah,
thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Just as we head
right.
towards the end, any message you would like to give to all the youngsters out there?
Well, my message is not really about the youngsters are doing a lot. I've seen that the youngsters are there. Whoever is involved with tourism, they are doing plenty. There's so many vloggers and bloggers. I didn't even know. I joined a group on WhatsApp, and it's only after that joining that group I realized that there are youngsters who are doing so much to promote Jammu region. And but now I really can't make them wiser by saying a few things. I'm now pretty old, and some of the things which I know are probably outdated. But when we started off by adventure as well, so I just like to touch a bit of adventure here. Now, as far as adventure is concerned, somehow the state has again taken a backseat. The Jammu region has taken a backseat when it comes to adventure. When I was the deputy director, we started off the river rafting in Riyasi. Unfortunately, I realized today that it has stopped. No, why it has stopped? Where's the problem? That is something that I don't know. But I have myself on a raft twice recce'd that stretch of river, and that stretch of river is not a life-threatening stretch of river. It has the rapids of probably just 1 or 2 on that grade of difficulty. It can very well be started off. State has got tremendous potential of paragliding. Paragliding is something which used to take place in Sanasar long back. A little joyride of maybe a minute or a half, but tourists would throng to do it. That has stopped completely. Other areas where trials have taken place, for some reason, things are not moving forward. In Udhampur or in Kathua, even Bhadarwa, Kishtwad, every place has got this potential. And the third thing which I like to say is that boating, in Basoli, why isn't it taking off properly? Boating in Chanhab, in Doda, why isn't taking off properly? We have water sports centers which should be there. Now these are not coming up. Besides that, you need to attract people. Now Rishikesh has rafting, but Rishikesh also has bungee jumping. No, why haven't anybody thought of bungee jumping on the Ganpat Bridge in Doda? Ganpat Bridge right now is the highest bungee jumping site in Rishikesh. Is set up by a company. They have erected a huge crane kind of a structure, and they make people jump off it. It is 83 meters. The bridge, Ganpat Bridge, is 86 meters. It is even higher. Why doesn't the government think of creating a bungee jumping opportunity on the bridge or somewhere near the bridge into the Chenab? Chenab is there, the water is there, it's safe to jump from there. So these are things, out of box things that one has to think about. And therefore, this is something that will attract people, and hundreds of people go to Bhadarwa and Kistawad. On the way, they can do bungee jumping at Ganpat Bridge, which comes on the way. So these are things which are there. Besides that, of course, trekking, mountaineering, and having trails for like the Sankhpal Trail. They can have a Shivghat Trail. They can have trails in Bhadarwa. There's so much to be done here. So all in all, there's tremendous scope for all these things. The only thing is to have an intensive publicity campaign so that we are able to attract people as much as possible.
Sir, as you said, all these things, I also believe that these should, like the adventure tourism, should definitely come back on track. And I hope that the some new sense and ideas will prevail, and the new director of our tourism department shall bring back this tourism on track.
Yeah,
So
I
thank
hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, he's a man from the youth services, sorry, sports council, and he has a fairly good idea of adventure activities in terms of water sports and other things. So I'm quite confident that he'll do a good job there.
when we need these good ideas now. So
Right.
thank you so much, sir, for joining us, for giving us your valuable
Thank,
time. It was such an
thank you.
enlightening conversation we have, and it was pleasure talking to you. You gave us such
Absolutely.
great. Thank you so much for
Pleasure
spending
was
your
mine.
time.
Pleasure was mine also. Thank you so much for giving me time.
And thank you to all the viewers. We'll be back soon. Bye for now.